1666 – The Great Fire of London. The year was 1666, and London was a bustling city of narrow streets, timber-framed houses, and thriving marketplaces. The city was alive with activity, but beneath the surface there was tension and unease. Just a year prior, the city had been ravaged by the Great Plague, which had claimed the lives of thousands. Londoners hoped the worst was behind them, but fate had other plans. It was the night of September 1st, a Saturday, and the people of London were settling down for the evening. The summer had been exceptionally hot and dry, leaving the city's wooden buildings parched and vulnerable. In a small bakery on Pudding Lane, owned by Thomas Farriner, the embers of a bakery oven were left smoldering. Farriner, his daughter, and a servant retired for the night, unaware of the catastrophe that was about to unfold. As the night wore on, sparks from the oven caught hold of the nearby firewood, quickly igniting the wooden building. The flames spread with terrifying speed, consuming the bakery and leaping from house to house, fed by the dry timber and thatched roofs. Farriner and his family managed to escape, but the fire had already gained a deadly momentum. By the early hours of Sunday, September 2nd, the fire was raging out of control. The city's firefighting methods were rudimentary at best, relying on leather buckets of water, fire hooks to pull down buildings, and the demolition of structures to create fire breaks. But the wind, blowing from the east, fanned the flames and carried them across the city. In the tightly packed streets, the fire leapt from building to building, devouring everything in its path. The citizens of London were thrown into panic. Families fled their homes, carrying whatever they could salvage. The streets were choked with people and possessions as the fire chased them westward. King Charles II, hearing of the disaster, ordered that the city's soldiers assist in fighting the fire. But even their efforts, aided by hastily demolished buildings, could not stem the tide of destruction. By Monday, September 3rd, the fire had reached its peak, consuming the heart of London. St. Paul's Cathedral, a symbol of the city, was engulfed in flames. The heat was so intense that the lead roof of the cathedral melted and the molten metal ran down the streets in fiery rivers. The fire crossed the River Fleet and threatened to consume Westminster. The chaos seemed unending as the firestorm raged. In the midst of the destruction, the Duke of York, later King James II, took command of the firefighting efforts. With the use of gunpowder, he ordered the demolition of rows of houses to create effective fire breaks. Finally, on the evening of September 4th, the wind shifted and the combined efforts of the fire breaks and a drop in the wind's intensity allowed the fire to be brought under control. By September 6th, after 4 days of devastation, the Great Fire of London was finally extinguished.
The aftermath was staggering. Over 13,200 houses, 87 churches, including St. Paul's Cathedral, and countless businesses were destroyed. An estimated 100,000 people were left homeless. Remarkably, the official death toll was recorded as low, though it's likely that the true number of casualties was higher. Given the lack of records for the city's poorest residents, the city lay in ruins, and the survivors faced a daunting task of rebuilding their lives. But out of the ashes, London rose again. King Charles II appointed Sir Christopher Wren to oversee the rebuilding of the city. Wren, an architect of great vision, designed a new St. Paul's Cathedral, along with many other churches, in a style that would come to define the city's skyline. The rebuilding of London also brought changes to urban planning and construction. The streets were widened, and building regulations were introduced to prevent such a disaster from occurring again. Houses were constructed from brick and stone other than wood, making them more fire-resistant. The Great Fire of London was a catastrophe that forever changed the city. It was a moment of profound loss, but also one of resilience and renewal. The fire cleansed the city of the plague, and the rebuilding efforts led to the London we know today as city of grandeur, history, and strength. Thanks for watching.